Welcome to Movie Time Machine, your retro movie review podcast where we take movies from the past and relive them in the present. This week's topic is not a movie, but we're going to talk about the year 2021 in review, where we will talk about, or it'll be a movie time machine reflection on entertainment in the year 2021. I'm your time machine host, Chad, and I want to introduce you to my co-host. It's been too long, guys. I've been doing this a lot lately. But first, I want to introduce you to our living encyclopedia of movie knowledge and NES card collector. It's James.
I think I watched 43 movies that came out in the year 2021, which also makes me sad. That's a lot. That's a lot of new movies, I guess. But I don't know. How'd everybody else do?
And next, he's our lovable, huggable teddy bear, Mr. YouTube himself. It's Casey.
Hold on, did you just say 43? Lord almighty.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot. Or are you just making fun of me now?
Whoa!
I think I had like over 30 that I had watched.
Okay, so that's not totally crazy.
I mean,
but
I thought like almost the entire MCU.
Yeah, I suppose.
No, hold on. That's your movie count of the year or movies that came out in 2021?
Movies that came out in 2021.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's different. That's different because you watched other movies that didn't come out in 2021.
Correct,
well.
which lead me to believe that that number is significantly higher for the year, but it is what it is. I mean, sometimes you have lazy Sundays and you can kick a whole Harry
Lord
Potter
almighty,
marathon.
I bow to you, my dude. I bow to you.
And finally, he's our living encyclopedia of survivor knowledge and lover of the Great British Baking Show, and still can't find any time to watch The Mandalorian, and we're going to spoil it for him tonight. It's Jamie.
All right. I went to the theater twice in 2021, which is 2 more times than I did in 2020.
Boom. Yeah, I think I went... Did I go 2 times? Yeah, I saw Sing 2 and Dune. Yeah, Sing 2 and
One
Dune.
of those is nominated for an Oscar.
I do remember that my first movie that I saw in the theater after like things reopened a little bit, pandemic style, was Snake Eyes, the G.I. Joe movie, which I was like, God, I really don't want this to be my first movie that I haven't seen or that I saw in the theater in a year, but what do? A friend's home from Saudi Arabia where he teaches, and he's like, hey, you want to go see this movie? And I'm like, I guess you're only home for a couple weeks, so hey, whichever you want, man.
Man, it's like losing your virginity to a blow-up doll.
I was on the same wavelength.
Wow. Of course you were, Jamie.
Sometimes the first time isn't always as special.
First time back from COVID. Let's go to Snake Eyes.
Exactly. I'm like, oh my God. It should have been something more epic. But then also I go over the movies I did see in the theater, which there's only 7, I guess. And there's only like 2 of them on there that I would have been proud to be like, yeah, that's the ones I saw in the theater. And it was probably either between Spider-Man No Way Home and Encanto.
No, hold on. I want to slither back to Snake Eyes one more second. Did you at least get popcorn while you were there?
Oh, I did it up. I did
Okay.
popcorn, pop.
Worth it.
Yeah,
Hashtag
and like
worth it.
mics or whatever.
Yeah, you're
Mike,
good.
Mike
good.
and Ike.
Hashtag worth it.
One more question, James. How much? So your buddy lives in Saudi Arabia or came from there. How much does a movie cost? How much does it cost to go see a movie in Saudi Arabia? Do we know? And is Snake Eyes available to see there?
I don't have an answer for you on that. I mean, I feel like any movie available in theater at least 3 weeks afterwards is available somewhere streaming. And I'm guessing in Saudi Arabia, I bet he's just got some sort of website you can watch all this garbage on. Let me see. There's a time difference. I'm gonna text him right now. I'm gonna see what the price of a movie is and if he's able to, because I don't feel like he sees any movies like in the theater per se when he's there.
When my buddy from Germany came to visit, he was here when Inception was in the theaters, and we went to see it, and I'd already seen it twice in the theaters. I went for the 3rd time to go with him because he hates watching them in Germany because they're all dubbed or like poorly dubbed, and he speaks fluent English. So we went and saw Inception. It was awesome. So I think he feels that pain. I think anyone outside of the U.S. trying to consume the awesome U.S. Hollywood crap It's kind of hard.
Worst
Hey,
dub in
did
that movie.
Saudi
movie.
Arabia like ban movies for a while, or like?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of one of those like he has to drive 30 miles to go get Taco Bell. Like, I don't know. Like,
Worth it. Worth it.
yeah, right. No, it is. I'm sure it's like him and another teacher like would make a trip like once a month to go grab Taco Bell. But yeah, I'm
That's
not
the
sure.
right
We'll-
amount of time for Taco Bell. Once
I
a
would. I
month.
mean, that's no different than me at home. I think it's more like a 6-month thing of Taco Bell because I spend $25 for myself when I do get Taco Bell.
So is twice a day too much?
Is that yours?
No,
Are
asking
you
for a
are
friend
you a
of a
Taco
friend.
Bell guy or a Taco John's guy? I think I'm more of a Taco John's guy.
I think everyone's more of a Taco John's guy. They just don't
yeah,
have that
I think
opportunity.
exactly. Like if it was closer to me, I think I would generally opt for Taco John's, but I've just got a T-Bell like a minute away, and that's generally the case.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to
But no,
live
I
like
agree
a
with you,
block
man.
away from a Toxic Hell, and I'd always go over there to get it was like a super burrito or some shit like that. I'd get like
Doesn't
a
even
super
matter. It's
burrito and 2
gunk
cheese
in a
Doritos and a
tortilla.
chalupa.
Did you ever spice up my night? Did you ever hear about that? Did you ever do that? I don't know where
Oh,
that
sounds
was.
sexy.
But when I lived, in a small town up rural Minnesota, and for a while there was this weird promo where if you did the drive-through after like 10 o'clock and you said like "spice up my night," that was like a key phrase, you'd get something for free. And I had a buddy, a current friend of mine, even now, a close friend, used to work at the drive-through. So we would just drive through, say what up to her, and be like, "Yo, spice up my night," and we get free stuff, every single night because we would just roll up to get free stuff. It was the bomb.
What?
It was like, free Cinna Sticks or, a taco
Oh.
or something goofy like that. But
I know we
I
kind of went down a
don't know.
weird rabbit hole, but did we introduce our last host?
Yeah, I said Jamie, he's our encyclopedia of survivor knowledge and lover
Yep,
of the Great British
yep.
Baking Show, and we're gonna
Oh, I
spoil
want to
Mando for
touch
him.
on that. I
British
didn't
Baking Show. I
know
remember
baking
now.
show. Yeah, I want to touch on that. I maybe forgot that we were both fans of that. I love the baking show.
It's so good. It's so. And James, you threw me off. I was like, wait, is there a fifth host? I was like checking
Same.
the room. I was like, hold on.
Yeah, it's Bruno. Up
Bruno.
here.
Hi guys. Actually, I sent out an invitation to my friend in Philly that I've done a couple pods with.
Oh yeah.
Jason.
For tonight?
Not for tonight, but I'm gonna send him a
Oh.
link. I was just like, we're just gonna try to record every Thursday, and if you want to just
Sick.
hop on and
Pick him up.
pick him up.
Well, now he has to because
Yeah.
he's going to listen to this and be like, "Oh, no, I'm
Oh yeah.
ashamed."
Oh yeah.
To
Hey,
show it up
I
on
don't
this
know.
one.
You know what? I don't think
Shouts,
he's
Doug.
ready for Movie Time Machine Pod. I don't think he can handle it.
He can't handle the group.
Yeah.
You
can't handle
it. You
just
can't
hoping
handle
that's-
the truth.
It's more of a call out, I guess, hoping that he shows up in the next one.
Depends on if he's a Taco John's man or a Taco Bell man.
No, in Philly, I bet they got something else.
Yeah, there's a Del Taco in Colorado.
Del Taco, yes.
Oh
Not good.
no, not good
good.
at all. No good, my friend. No good.
No.
I sent you guys some awesome pictures on the chat, by the way.
I saw that. I was like,
It's from this Twitter account called Baseball Card Vandals, and they just vandalize old baseball cards and make them say funny
No.
shit. I love the
favorite song
watch Fuller House for some old age Tanner. Oh, anyway. So, favorite things from 2021. Where do you guys want to start? Do you want to?
I'm thinking let's go ahead and talk. Let's talk TV series that we watched in 2021 and enjoyed.
Okay, I want to go over maybe my best surprises. I'm gonna list off 3 here.
Great
for TV.
idea, James. But we're gonna do something else completely.
What?
This is funny. James
What?
was like, no, because you were like, well, where should we start? James was like, let's do TV series. And Chad, you were like, I'm gonna start with my best surprise.
Yeah, of TV series.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, JB, I was laughing in my head about it too. Don't worry, I took what you said too.
Oh my God, you dick.
Going on mute.
It got awfully quiet.
I guess. All right, let's do this, Chad.
Okay.
I misunderstood.
Hey,
Favorite.
So sorry.
I misunderstood too, and I was just like, okay, we're just gonna go with this. Like, it was
Should we
pretty
just
good.
we'll just do one and just go around the table until we've exhausted this topic?
Yeah, that's totally fine. So why don't you go first, though? You seem pretty excited about it.
Yeah. So this didn't come out in 2021, but we did start watching it in 2021. Was a series on Hulu called Pen 15, and oh my God, it's so funny. It's
Give me
about
the premise. I've heard good things,
yeah.
but
So
yeah.
Is it about dicks?
it's these two women that wrote this show, and it's kind of based off their real friendship, and like the stories about them in like middle school. I think it's like the start of like their 7th grade year or 8th grade year or something like that. And the coolest thing about how the show is taped is they are playing themselves, but all the other actors are middle school kids, like
Oh,
actual like real.
funny.
So it's
I
great. So
can
it's just
picture that. That's awesome. That's
along with
hilarious.
all like the awkwardness that comes with being a young teen, and just kind of like I think it's like set in the year 99 or year 2000 or something like that, and just
Okay,
like
hold on. I want
the
to segue a
school
tiny bit.
awkwardness. And yeah.
Did you ever watch Summer Heights High? It was an Australian
No.
show, like maybe a decade ago. But that's what it makes me think of that, because it was like, gosh, it wasn't like a Marlon Wayans type deal, but the show was there was a main actor who played three different characters, and the show followed three different storylines in some, a rural Australian place. So it was like there was some Australian hicks, there was like people from, Polynesian people, because it's Australia. But it was funny because he's an adult, but he would play these three kids in high school, and it was just super funny to kind of see that. So I can picture this show, and I think I kind of want to see it now because that's super funny.
Yeah, do it. I mean, it's there's only 2 seasons. It's done now, and yeah, it's something you could blaze through. But I mean, there was nights where we were just like laughing so hard we were just like in tears. But yeah, definitely check that out. Who wants to go next?
I volunteer Casey.
Wait, sorry. Topic is biggest surprises.
No, we're just gonna go our favorite series from 2021.
Oh, I don't know if I watched any actual TV series in 2021. I think the only things
Did
I
you watch
watched
any
were
MCU
movies.
series?
Oh yeah, okay. I can talk about I have some thoughts about MCU. So I'm gonna get into it. We had a thing in our doc, what was the best MCU series, and I thought about it. And I'm gonna tell you that I think the best MCU series of the year was Loki, and I'm gonna tell you why. First, I want to ask, because I can't remember, was Falcon released also in 2021?
Yeah.
Falcon
It was
Winter
it was
Soldier.
before
Yes.
Loki.
But it was also, so we're putting these series up against one another, right? We got Falcon and Winter Soldier, we got Hawkeye, we got Loki,
WandaVision.
we got WandaVision, right? Those are the big four that came out.
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you why Loki's the best. First of all, let's touch on Hawkeye, right? No offense, love Hawkeye, love him, he's great, but he could never be the best of anything in any list of MCU, right? It's just not possible, because at most he's the best human, right? And MCU is full of aliens, it's full of people from other dimensions, time beings, it's full of literal gods. So unfortunately, Hawkeye is just always disqualified from the top of any list unless the list is best human. Moving on, WandaVision. Oh, sorry, hold on, I forgot one piece. Hawkeye in a series as a main character. And again, I actually haven't. I want to go back. I haven't actually watched the Hawkeye series, so don't be mad at me. But I can tell you right now, and you can tell me how accurate I am. Is Hawkeye in a main character, as the main character in the series? Is it not just Bourne Identity meets Legolas, right? Okay, moving on. WandaVision, loved WandaVision. It was great. I thought it was a great series. I think the shtick got a little less exciting, not old or stale, but a little less exciting, halfway through, kind of once you figured out what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But let's look at Wanda. Wanda is a bad guy who turned good guy, who turned bad guy, who turned good guy, who turned bad guy, who is, Let me explain. Wanda, Age of Ultron, starts as a bad guy. Well, then she turned good guy in the same movie, Age of Ultron, right? Becomes good guy. But then became a bad guy. Captain America, Civil War, went against Iron Man, joined Cap. Wait, am I wrong on that? Either way, it doesn't matter.
Hey, Casey, do you
Anyways,
have
turned
notes?
good
Are you
guy
reading
again.
from notes?
No, maybe.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's a cue card. I have someone here
Okay,
holding
cue.
it in front of me. Thank you. I hired, 3 people on Craigslist. Anyways, turned good guy, right? Avengers Endgame, she helped out with Avengers, but then turned bad guy again, WandaVision. She was kind of a bitch, fucked with that whole town, no good. And now who knows what she's going to do, right? So could she really be that's not that compelling of a story. Either way, moving on. Captain Falcon, Winter Soldier, good series. Loki was actually pretty darn good, but wasn't as good as Loki. Let's just move on. Loki is awesome because it was a villain redemption, and those are always fun. We got to see him reconcile with watching himself die, trying to turn face, right? Trying to turn good in the end, dying as a hero, even after living his life as a villain, and then seeing that it got him nowhere. So then he tries to continue on his trickster god ways. But then we do get to see him do, quote unquote, the right thing. We see the full redemption arc. And give me anything that's a timey-wimey universe, wormhole, multi-dimension. Give me anything like that. I'll inject that shit right into my veins. Loki wins. Let's go. Mic drop.
No, I'm there with you. I mean, if you just want to talk MCU series, yeah, Loki was my favorite with WandaVision right behind that. And yeah, I was disappointed with the Falcon and Winter Soldier. I felt like it had like a good build up, then it just kind of went nowhere. Except that we get the the new Captain America essentially. But
I do want to say that I'm glad that they touched on something prevalent to modern times, where they kind of touched on race being a thing. Because come on, race is a thing in the entire world. So to not to say MCU ignored it, but to actually call it out and be like, oh yeah, there was a black super soldier and he kind of got hosed because racist, that type of thing.
yeah,
So I'm glad I appreciate it for what it did there. But I kind of agree it wasn't super interesting.
well, Jamie, why don't you tell us about Mandalorian?
Well, while we're on the topic of Marvel, let me preface this by saying, as far as TV, the best thing I saw last year, period, TV, movies, you name it, was Beartown, the series on HBO, the Swedish show about the small town in Sweden, the hockey story, based on the same novel, the same name by Frederick Backman. So if we never make it back to that, that was the best thing I saw last year, period. But as far as MCU, I'm stumping hard for WandaVision. Because, and the coolest thing is, Casey was going through it, the coolest thing is about these series is that it's not the Iron Man, it's not the Thors, it's not the Captain Americas, it's the lesser characters who I could give two shits about, save Loki and Hawkeye. Love those dudes. But Wanda, Maximoff, Vision, we know how I feel about Bucky Barnes, and never been a big Falcon guy either. So 4 characters I couldn't care less about, but the shows are so good. And what I loved about WandaVision specifically was just the whole Twilight Zone vibe. I thought it was a huge risk for a series that kind of completely broke away from the mold of the movies that they had.
Yeah.
Like this could have gone pear-shaped real fast and lost a ton of fans. And you could tell by some of the early reviews, like episode 1, episode 2, what is this? I don't like this. What's going on here? But I was so into it. I was like, oh yeah, this is weird. This is different. Something's up, but you don't quite know what. So there's the mystery factor that kind of plays out throughout the series, which I loved. I loved all the callbacks to the old sitcoms. And yeah, like I said, it made me give a shit about 2 characters I would otherwise not even think twice about, Vision and Wanda. And then Catherine Hahn was great. just little cherry on top. So yeah, I
Agatha.
WandaVision for me.
I think Agatha's getting her own show, if I remember in the lineup. Isn't that right?
True.
Is she?
Yep.
I think so. Not maybe not this year, but maybe next year or something like that. But I think in like the phase lineup of shows, I think she's on there.
Oh hell
Which
yes!
which I love her as an actress. So like, I think that's gonna be great. I'm excited to see where that character goes.
Yeah, isn't it called Agatha All Along, I think? Or no?
That sounds
Maybe?
right.
Or that's the song from it.
That was the song.
But yeah.
I don't know. Agatha something. Um, I'm gonna because we keep doing it. I'm just gonna stay in the Marvel bandwagon. So I did watch Hawkeye. Did anybody else watch Hawkeye?
Yeah, I did watch Hawkeye.
I really enjoyed Hawkeye.
Yeah, it was I
and
thought it was fun.
and if Case, if I know you said you didn't see it, but if your description is Born Identity meets Lagalos, I mean, yes, that's probably right, and I'm absolutely in.
I haven't seen it, and that's just how I'm calling it. And I want to see it. I will
Yeah.
watch it.
But I'd say as far as my surprises for this year, like I wasn't expecting to really like Hawkeye that much because of all the things that you were saying. And so, but strangely enough, like Loki is one that I think I'm the only one that feels this way. I was underwhelmed by Loki. And I need to go through it again because I feel like I'm missing something because you guys all loved it. Everybody loved it. I thought it was way better than Winter Soldier show for sure. So I'm happy that was the follow up. I don't think it was better than WandaVision. I think WandaVision was more enjoyable for me. But at the end of the day, Hawkeye, I think, was just a lighthearted, fun series. And I really enjoyed it. And I like that they brought back ScarJo's sister into it. God, why can't I think of her name?
Oh yeah.
Yelena? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. She's awesome in that too.
Yeah, and like so I want her to be back in one of these series or her own show. Like I really like that character and she does a really good job with it.
I'm glad you brought that up, James, because I thought that just made me think about how I thought the effects in Hawkeye were 10 times better than the effects in the Black Widow film.
Oh, really? I guess I never really noticed that.
Oh my god, the Black Widow movie's so bad.
Anyway. So yeah. No, that's okay. So I was just gonna say, as far as surprise to go, I just wanted to give a shout out to Hawkeye. I do recommend it. I get it as far as your rundown of why he is the worst Avenger. You're right. Best human, sure. The worst Avenger, yes. That's the one that I think that surprised me a lot this year. Otherwise, I'd say my favorite show that I watched this year was other surprise that I had off of the MCU universe was the show Hannah, based on the movie Hannah, with Saoirse Ronan and Eric Bana, and I think Cate Blanchett is the nemesis in that one, and just about a kid that grows up with her dad in the woods, doesn't know anything different, and he's like CIA guy of some sort, and teaches her like all sorts of stuff about living on her own, combat, blending in, just the super spy basically. And there's a few seasons of it on Amazon, and actually it only has 3 seasons, so it's ended. And I think that it kind of plays like that was the plan. And I love when shows are like, nope, we're just gonna do 3 and done and tell a good story. So very enjoyable show on, and yeah, like I said, it was on Amazon. So that was probably the other surprise I had this year because I wasn't expecting it to be very good. I thought the movie kind of told the story it needed to, and the show kind of took it another way, which I liked.
All right. Did everyone get to see Squid Game?
I'd never watched it.
I haven't yet. No.
It got too built up. I thought I'd wait.
I did, Chad.
God, I love that.
It's the length of the episodes that have held me back.
Really? How long are they?
They're hours.
Hours.
But isn't it only like 6 episodes
time...
or something like that though? Like
yeah, I want to do it. But... The problem is, I'll tell you the problem is that it's going to be heavy, and you can't just watch that and then go straight to bed. You need to watch like a Ted Lasso after that or something, right? Something
no, not Ted
just
Lasso.
like a mouthwash, an eye bleach of a show. I can't that's why I literally couldn't finish Breaking Bad. We got 2 seasons in maybe, and it just bummed me out too much, and it affected me like physically. Like I couldn't sleep after watching that show. I couldn't sleep as well. So I never watched it again. I stopped.
Oh,
like
I
watching
must be
Dexter before
I must
bed.
be mental.
Yeah,
because I love that kind of stuff before bed.
Ugh,
Do-
no
Do you
way.
do
This
you
really helps clear my mind.
well, I was gonna say, so then do you dream like Squid Game or anything like that, or not so much?
No.
Oh, okay.
Red
I feel
light,
like
green
if
light.
I watch like binge something, like I remember when I was binging Smallville, like for a year, my dreams were just straight up Superman dreams, which I was okay with.
That's sweet. Fuck. Smallville.
That is pretty sweet. Well, Chad, so what did you love about Squid Games specifically? Because I found it to be equal parts intriguing. I did like it, but also at the same time I was like, man, like South Korea is going through some shit. You know, like there's some cultural context here that I don't have access to, and this is a heavy show, man.
I just like the whole idea of, like, people running up debts and why they run up debt. Like what, part of it is like what I think our protagonist has, like a gambling addiction, if I remember
Mm-hmm.
correctly.
Yep.
Yeah. And he's kind of a loser, and he's like separated from his wife and he has a daughter. And like some parts of the series you find out that like they're moving to the US or something like that. So they'll be separated like, by the ocean. And I don't know. You go from that to like, would you risk everything to win this like giant pot of money, like,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's like a giant gladiator battle. I don't know. And just like each little game was how it was around like these like childhood games, it was, I thought that was kind of creepy and I like that shit. Um, and just like the how it just kind of made me think of like, if there's like the apocalypse, like people kind of form into like these different groups, like when shit goes bad, like people kind of break off and they like kind of it's or like
Natural
next
clicks.
clicks are just like you just associate with people and everyone. Then there's
Sure.
like like the distrust starts to come into play and you don't know who to trust, or then I don't know, I thought it was really fucking cool. And there's some like really like bummer stuff, but I thought it had like a cool twist. And yeah.
Have you ever seen the game or heard of the game Fall Guys? It's like on Steam. It's like a PC game. This little cartoony little dude running around in a game show.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I played that game a couple times. I've played it enough, maybe in total 20, 30 times
Hmm.
I've played it. And the premise is, you join this pool of 100, you play these little mini games and you try to keep winning until you're the winner. I've played, like I said, 20, 30 times. I've never won. I'm really bad. So when it comes to Squid Game, is it you'll have to tell me, maybe spoiler, is it one person wins this whole thing at the end, just a single person?
Yeah, but everyone else
Yeah, you die if you
dies.
don't win, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's exactly. So yeah, knowing how bad I am at those things, yeah, I can't risk it because it's just a guarantee that I'll die.
Well, and what's so cool about the show is I agree. I would never play it either, but you see how these people would talk themselves into it. And like, no, it won't be me. I'll be the one who wins the lotto. That's one of the
I've
cool
lost
tricks
so
it
many
plays.
times.
Right.
I
And
know.
I've
then
never won.
well, it makes me think of I'm not a big gambling person, and that's another part of it too. It's like there is part of that where you see these gambling addictions, and um I've known people where I've just seen it like really destroy their lives. And like if you were to give them a chance, be like, hey, there's this game to where you could win all this money to like help pay off all your debts that you got from gambling, but you're going to gamble your life to risk, you're going to risk your life to get that opportunity. So I don't know. And all the things that you risk and destroy and like around you because of that. But I don't know. It's really cool. I would watch it. I think it was like one of the coolest things that came out last year. One of the most unique
I
things.
think that's my biggest regret of things I haven't seen from last year. If we had to rank those, that might be on the top. So the soonest that I will remedy, I think, hopefully.
My buddy
New
from
year, new
Saudi
me.
Arabia got back to me, guys.
And
and live tweeting here. So
Yes.
I just said, can you watch movies in theater in Saudi Arabia, or I think he's in Qatar or Qatar, however you pronounce that now.
Cutter.
Um, and he said, yeah, they're about $15 there, but there's a range. Often I pay about 40, so somewhere between 15 and 40 is what I got at that. But it
15
has
is a
better.
matinee.
See, well, yeah, he said 40 has better seats, and then the 15 of it is food. I think is what he was saying. And then I said, are they current movies? Like example would be the Batman's coming out next Friday. He said, yeah, but it's much more limited of where you would need to go to see it. And then sometimes we get movies before. He said sometimes we get movies before you, sometimes after you. But they also modify movies, so they remove any sex scenes and even some other stuff.
Whoa.
And that's the way it is.
That's
the way the
I'm
cookie
Paul.
crumbles.
I'm Paul Harvey, and that's the way it is. Is that like a Paul Harvey line? It sounds like something Paul Harvey would say.
That's
Do you know?
I don't know. Wasn't that Walter Cronkite?
Oh, Walter
I don't know.
Cronk.
I could be like, hey, good night and good luck. I have no idea.
That's the other guy they made a movie about.
Yeah.
The smoker.
George Clooney directed that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the thing about that movie is I think when that one came out, that's when we all had to, or like smoking in restaurants was not a thing anymore. And so when that movie came out and all you could see is clouds of smoke in the recording studios, like you were just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
Any other series you want to
I'll just plug in as far as the best series I saw last year was a short miniseries, Mayor of Easttown on HBO with Kate Winslet. Did anybody else catch that one? All right. Well,
I think I couldn't get into that one. Angela really liked that one though, but
okay.
Murder.
Maybe it's not for maybe it's not for everybody. It's just one of those murder mysteries, whatever. It's kind of like watching The Killing or whatever else. And it kind of just each episode goes 6 ways from Sunday of what's actually going on. But all in, I thought it was a very, very well done show. And I don't know. I'm a sucker for Kate Winslet. I think she's always great in whatever she does. And I love when she does accents. Like, did you guys see Jobs when she had like that? Oh, God.
Yes.
I can't even think of what accent it was. It was like Icelandic, German, South African hybrid. I can't even think of it. But it was so good.
She was fantastic in that movie, though.
Yeah.
I agree, James. She's great. She's great. I think Casey said Squid Games was his one that he wanted to see most, or the one that he missed. That one's mine. Mayor of Easttown.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it was it last year? There is on HBO Max. There's this show. It's called How To with John. Not John Williams.
John Lovitz.
How To close. How To with John Wilson.
Oh yeah,
it's
that show's great.
It's so funny. It's so random. I mean, if that's actually something really good to fall asleep to, like to watch before bed, Casey, because it's unless you watch the circumcision one, because you get to see like full on frontal penis.
Well, did we ever talk about I Think You Should Leave?
Yeah,
Tim something.
Yeah,
that would probably be my ideal before bed. It's the most nonsensical eye bleach you'd ever watch. You can never watch that and like feel bad because it's so stupid. Like you can't feel bad about it. It's so dumb.
All right, how about I want to talk about my like movie surprises, like things that I watched that I wasn't like excited for. I just kind of watched because it was like, oh, it's a new release. It's on HBO Max. I'm just going to check it out while I work. And I thought this movie was fucking awesome, hilarious, and a lot of fun. Was the new Suicide Squad movie.
God,
With-
just so ridiculous and
It's
awesome.
so good.
Oh my god,
So
it was
good.
so good. It was so much fun. Like after I watched it the first time, like there's parts of it I didn't catch, but I was just like had my headphones in and listening to it, and so many funny lines. And after it was over, I was like, man, was that really good? I feel like that was really good. I don't know. Maybe I need to watch it again because I think that was really good. Like I was not expecting to enjoy it that much, and yeah, maybe it's just kind of going in with no low expectations. But yeah, that movie was a lot of fun, and especially now with the Peacemaker series that just ended too, which I thought that one was a lot of fun too. Really good, pretty funny, nice throwback to. I know it's not 2021, this is 2022, but yeah, that was a huge surprise.
Yeah,
Really love that.
if everybody else on this pod hasn't watched Peacemaker, or anybody that's listening, do yourself a favor. It is so funny.
It's, it is so
Just
badass.
the intro credits just tells the story of what you're about to walk
The
into, basically.
choreographed dancing.
Oh, so funny. And like even like I looked up, I'm like, what is this song? I never heard this song before. No, of course not, because it was made for the damn show.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's perfect. It makes no sense. Oh man, yeah, no, it's good. I recommend it, everybody. And also, yeah, on the Suicide Squad note, just like it's just so funny because for me, I don't know a lot about besides your main heroes that you got, your Supermans, Batmans, Wonder Womans, all that kind of stuff. I don't really know a lot about DC villains besides Joker and all that kind of stuff. Or maybe that's the one Catwoman, but yeah, you got the Suicide Squad, and like I don't know any of these damn characters, and like oh my, they just make it work. It is just so silly and funny. And yeah, I think it works because they don't take themselves that seriously. Or James Gunn kind of like, just like with Peacemaker, I was thinking about this while I'm watching that show. I'm like, I think the world has just accepted that superheroes or villains exist, and so like it's not totally odd that like Vigilante's walking around in his super villain or superhero suit,
Yeah.
just casually, and
Yeah.
it's just kind of accepted. It is what it is. So I don't know. It's pretty good.
Yeah, the thing about the I just lost my train of thought. Thing about Suicide Squad.
I mean, I think it's because they realize they live in a world where there's Superman and Batman. Like that's the world they live in. So why would it be totally out of the question that there's other people in costumes running around?
Yeah, no, I remember I was gonna say, James, if if you were gonna tell me before watching Suicide Squad and saying like, yeah, and it's gonna have a guy called Polka Dot Man,
Right.
right? And John Cena is gonna play a guy called Peacemaker.
Right. And they
I
make
mean,
fun of him all the time
right,
for wearing a toilet seat on his head.
right,
And...
right. I'd be like,
But
what?
then, I mean, you just watch the show and you're like, oh man, there's a lot going on with that toilet seat. So,
oh my god. Yeah, so
yeah,
good.
pretty good. No, I'd say, yeah, Suicide Squad was definitely a surprise.
Well, especially with how mediocre the other one was.
Oh, it's
It was
so terrible. It's
The
terrible.
first one was so
just
bad.
forgettable. Just
Yeah.
forgettable.
It had
Really
a
mediocre.
great soundtrack, guys.
Yeah,
Just-
that's the easy part, I think.
Yeah, no, I was kidding.
I'm just glad it redeemed itself. That was nice.
Yeah.
I like the Outcast story. It was good. I liked
Well-
it. It was super funny.
Well, especially because it wasn't too long ago that other movie came out, so it's really in my head like who went to who. Like James Gunn went to like the producers, was like, guys, I think this could be really funny, like, or this could be really good. Give me another shot at it. And they're like, why? What's your pitch? It's Guardians, but rated R. Okay, we're in.
Yeah, is that, not to get too like sidetracked here, but is that the key to like making a good comic book movie that isn't Batman? Is to like
It's being wacky.
have it be like fun, and like just own the fact that most comic book heroes and villains are pretty ridiculous to begin with. It's kind of like in
Well-
Spider-Man. Everyone's seen Spider-Man, right? No Way Home.
Yeah.
The newest one.
Yeah, like the part
No,
where
but
they're
that's okay.
the part where they're talking about like how they got their powers.
Adam West.
Adam West, what? Really, Jamie? I thought you were the one that came out and said that you watched it and it was so good, but we couldn't talk about it yet.
No. Talk away. That's fine.
Oh no, it's over.
Nah.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Spoiler. I laughed. I cried.
I know where you were
Spoiler.
going with this, and yeah, I laughed really hard at that.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean?
Right. And that's why those movies kind of sucked.
Yeah.
But
I get what you're saying, and I agree, because it's kind of like how I think I was talking about Eternals like this, like where the only way now with Marvel's new phase with these new characters I don't know a whole lot about. The only way it works for me is if there's a lot of humor involved that makes these characters likable, where I am invested in them.
yeah,
Um, and instead, like, you have all these Eternals that are basically all like they have their varied powers, but they're all Supermans, and and so I'm like, like much like Superman movies, like, okay, so what kind of flaws are we gonna find so we know that they're a little bit humanized and all that, but otherwise you need to make them likable. And I don't know. All in, I think the movie was shot really well. I love that it spans 7,000 years. It's pretty incredible what they did with it, and I liked it. Okay, but I mean, it's definitely on the bottom of my list for Marvel movies at this point. Um, so I'm assuming that it's all going to come together. Like you're gonna need to have seen the Eternals to get to the next step of whatever else is coming. Is my guess.
Well, I don't know that you're going to have to have seen it to understand the next step, but I think I don't know if it's good to use a Lord of the Rings metaphor, but it feels almost like if you'd had read the Silmarillion or one of those, like, the
Yeah,
dictionary or the encyclopedia of Tolkien, where it's like super dry and awful. And it almost feels like Eternals is just like a homework assignment. Like, well, watch this so you kind of understand where we're going to go in these next films. But you need to kind of know these backstories, which is, it'll be an entertaining ride. But it's not a movie you're going to come back and watch. It's kind of just like required viewing to understand the big picture.
right. Like, and I see like Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. Like, it had a lot of humor to it, and good action sequences. Where now it's like those characters I really enjoy, and I like that movie, and I happily watch it again. Like more like recent, like sooner than later. Eternals, like I'm like, I got the storyline. I'm good for a while.
all right. Oh, I lost my outline here. Do.
Well, I have my biggest surprise. If we're talking biggest
Yeah,
surprises,
go ahead. Yeah.
I have a mini story. I actually, and this is, I'm cheating a bit. It's a movie that came out in 2021, but I watched it like a month ago. So a month ago, I was on a plane, and I happened to get an free upgrade on this plane to not first class, but if you fly Delta, there's Comfort Plus. It's like one step up, and in Comfort Plus, you get unlimited drinks. And so I thought, oh well, I'm
Ew.
on my way out to I was on my way to a little boys trip. Me and the boys were going to play golf. Sorry, Chad. Rip. 3 days straight
I'm
of
so
golf. Like
bummed that I
72
wasn't able
holes.
to
It
come
was
with you
right.
and
It
hang
was
out with
amazing.
the
It
guys.
was the week before the Waste Management PGA Tour thing in Scottsdale. We went to Arizona to golf. Anyways, back to movies. I'm on the plane. And free drinks, and I thought, challenge accepted. I'm not driving anywhere. I have a buddy picking me up at the airport, and I'm just rolling to the Airbnb. So I was like, how many drinks do you think these people will let me drink?
That's the spirit.
And the answer is 8 shots, so 4 doubles is what they let me have, and only because that was as long as the flight lasted. But anyways, the reason I wanted to talk about biggest surprises is while I was on this endeavor, I watched Space Jam. And whether it was the amount of gin I had had or if it was genuinely good, but man, I had a great time watching Space
The
Jam with
newest one?
LeBron James, the
Okay.
newest one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that movie was a romp. I was very surprised with how much I enjoyed it. The acting wasn't great in all of it, but I loved the gratuitous, like, was it Universal is the franchise, the ownership, the big umbrella of all of it. You saw Harry Potter and all these other things, like, to be able to take all those franchises and kind of just mush them together. It was, what, an hour and 30 minutes of fan service and goofiness and a super duper hand job to LeBron James, but it is what it is, and I loved almost every single minute of it. It was a great surprise for
Wow.
me. Yeah.
That is shocking to hear. Also, I would
Now,
also
hold
watch
on,
the
hold on.
movie.
Let me clarify.
Oh, sorry.
It was not better than the original, not in the slightest. I view it as a sequel, and it was a great entertainment thing. I will not compare it to the original because, as far as I'm concerned, it was a sequel. They even almost hint a little bit to the previous one having happened, like the little the aliens that are like the bad guys in the first one, the
The
little
All
aliens that take over. Yeah,
Stars.
those things are like on the court watching the game. So it's kind of like a nod to, this ain't a remake, it's a redo, or it's like a sequel in the future. So I don't compare it. If I had to, yeah, of course the first one was better, but still, we're not gonna go there. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
I was thinking about I would watch the movie that you were describing in the beginning, which was Casey seeing how many drinks that the airport team would give him and and what happens next. I'd watch that show.
I literally just would walk to them. I wouldn't even push the first time I pushed the button, and then I felt really guilty pushing the attendant button. So then after my second, I would just walk to them and say, "Hey, can I get another one?" And they'd bring it to my seat. It was great. They were very nice. I offered them a tip. They couldn't accept it.
Oh,
I'm beyond impressed by the Delta Airlines bottle service.
No kidding.
Hashtag Fly Delta. Hashtag
Wow.
not a sponsor.
I
Hashtag I wish it was a
I
sponsor.
cannot drink while I fly, because every time I fly, I get like severe like sinus like pain. I don't know. It's terrible. Like, so drinking just makes it worse.
Casey, was this
Anyways.
also your plan to continue getting drinks so you wouldn't have to put your mask back on?
Oh no, dude. I drank them under the mask. It was great. It was super easy.
Copy that. Okay, just curious.
Drank them under the mask?
Yeah, they ask you to like as much as possible, not even remove it. So just kind of like hold it up, take your drink or whatever, and then put it right back down. So I was almost never never maskless.
Mm.
But they weren't worried about me. I was still super immune. I'd had it, 60 days prior. I was licking doorknobs and kissing strangers, so it was all good.
Biggest surprises I think had this year. So 2 movies for me. One was from I think 2020, not 2021, but Promising Young Woman with Carey Mulligan. I'd say if you haven't watched that one, I don't even want to describe it. I think I went in blind and was ever so pleasantly surprised by this movie, and it wasn't one that I typically would have watched. I was with another friend that was like, "Oh, should we watch this one?" And I'm like, "Well, I guess it was up for an Oscar." And it was awesome, and Carey Mulligan did crush it. So I do recommend that one. And then the other one was Willy's Wonderland. Does anybody know what I'm talking
Ooh,
about here?
no.
It's
This is very high on my watch list, James.
it's on Hulu, I think, for free. It's Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage, and I could be wrong. If he doesn't say a word in this movie, it is one sentence or it's one word. Otherwise, I don't think he talks the whole movie. He just does everything with kind of a look and just does his thing. But he is the main character, and the premise is something happens to his car. He needs to get it fixed. He takes it to this hole in the wall place that says, "Hey, we need a part." And he's like, and I think he got robbed or something at some point in the beginning of the movie, and so he doesn't have any money. And the guy's like, "You know what? How about this? I'll do you a favor. You come over to Willy Wonderland, and it's basically like this Chuck E. Cheese type place." That's been pretty much looks like it's been shut down for a while. And they're like, "Why don't you come over to Willy's Wonderland, help me clean it up, and then I'll pay the $4,000 to get your car fixed so you can get out of here." And so he gets pretty much dropped off there with a bucket and a mop, and they lock him inside, and then he starts cleaning away, and slowly but surely the animatronics start to try to kill him, and and so it's like an hour and a half movie. It was just very surprising, but I mean, you just got the premise from me, and if you can accept that, then the rest of the movie is pretty fun. So yeah, but that's what I would recommend: Willy's Wonderland. And let's be honest, the animatronics are super scary. I don't know if it's because of COVID or not, but they did not exist when I was at Chuck E. Cheese a couple weeks ago. Those things are
Like
gone.
at all? They're gone?
At least at the one I was at, it's like I don't know if it was kind of updated. Like animatronic singing thing guys, like they got to be the new clowns, right? Like they're just scary and freaky. So yeah, they weren't around. So I would have to assume that it's probably like more mascots running around because there wasn't a place for the band. Like I was confused on where like it would have been even. Not
Oh,
and
wow.
like it was boarded up, and they're like, "Oh no, we don't want you guys touching the animatronics or something." So I'm guessing it's just like mascots of those characters running around and singing "Happy Birthday." But even then, I didn't really see that going around, so I'm not really sure. But yeah, they weren't there.
Oh, I remember seeing those when I was a kid and being really disappointed because it wasn't like they were on the commercial, and realizing that the animatronic, like all the moving parts, were so loud
Oh.
that it was like you could hear it over the music. I was like, that's what made it terrifying. And like then like one eye wouldn't move and the other one wouldn't spin. I don't know. It's just it was terrifying.
Dude, I went to a pizza joint in like South Dakota that took that to another level where you would sit at a table and next to the table was like a little train track type thing and an animatronic thing would deliver your damn pizza to your table and like talk to you and crap. Super freaky. But I liked it as a kid, I
Whoa.
guess.
It's crazy.
This brings back to the AI we were speaking of in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming.
They almost stabbed me.
Hey, one thing I forgot that when we're talking about best or series you liked in 2021 was did anyone watch the Sex Lives of College Girls?
Nope.
It's on HBO Max. It's so good. It's
I was gonna say it's in my queue. I just haven't watched
it's a
it.
Mindy Kaling project.
God, Mindy's great.
Yeah, it's really good, James. You'll like it.
Mindy Kaling project was also very good. If anybody's looking for a if they like New Girl and they need to fill that void of something before bed, if that's their kind of show.
Yeah, like
Mindy Kaling
the
project is great.
first like 3 seasons. Then it got like weird or whatever.
You're not wrong because I think there's like 7 or 8 seasons, and I think I stopped after like 4 or 5.
Yeah, because it was on network
4?
TV. Then it like switched over to Hulu, and it got kind of bad.
Got
I
it.
think. But did everyone see Dune last year?
Yes.
Nope.
I think that was my favorite movie I watched last
Really?
year. Yeah, I think that I don't know. I thought that movie was pretty epic.
Did you watch or read the books or watch the 84 movie?
I watched the 84 movie, and after I left Dune 2021, it made me realize that I had no fucking clue what the 84 movie was about. And just
Right.
it's just like realizing, oh wow, like George Lucas kind of, got a lot of ideas from Dune. Holy cow.
Yeah, it's definitely one where I really enjoyed Dune. I hadn't seen anything or knew anything about what it was about before watching the movie this year. But I enjoyed it. It's definitely one where I need to go back because I'm like, all right, I don't know. I need to relearn everybody's names and what they were all about. But I'm ever so excited that they greenlit the part 2. Because once it quit, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's it. I don't think I realized that it was only being filmed as part 1, and they were just kind of seeing how well it would do. Because now I'm invested and I want to see what's next. So I'm excited that they did greenlight it. So I'll have to go back and watch it again. But what I did see was pretty epically shot. The acting was amazing. It was very, very well done. I just need to go back so I can get as invested in the characters and themes as we all are with Star Wars. I just need to relearn what they're called.
Yeah, it's almost like the perfect combination of Star Wars and Space Odyssey. 2001
Yeah.
Space Odyssey. I don't know, it is epic, and the score for it, which I think is done, but is it Hans Zimmer that did the score for
he
it?
was.
Yeah,
he's doing it. That's why Hans Zimmer wasn't involved in what's it?
The
Tenet,
yeah.
and a couple other things, because this was his passion project, and as soon as it was available, he's like, "Yup." And then also, I'm sure Hans has this clout in Hollywood where he's like, I'm Hans Zimmer, so I will be doing this project."
Right.
And also, who would say no? I guess.
if I had one knock on Dune, and I loved it, don't get me wrong, Chad, I agree with you. I think it's close. It's that or Bond was the best movie I saw last year, but it's probably Dune because I saw it twice immediately, one after the other. But I really, really have a thing against the PG-13 violence, and I get why they do it. You get a bigger net, more people get to see Dune. That's great, but I don't know, just something about the full-on war on Arrakis with a very, very bloodless conclusion. Just kind of that always bumps me out in a movie. But again, that's picking a nit. Overall, I agree. I think it was probably my favorite movie of the year.
I think you need to maybe see a therapist about that.
Well,
Maybe you need to talk that one out.
No, it just because like consequences matter. You know, if you're gonna stab someone, it's not, they don't just fall down. It's like they die, and it's gross and bad, and you got to deal with it if you're gonna kill somebody, kind of thing. You
Ja-
know?
Jamie, I completely understand because did anybody play the video game Injustice with Batman Superman?
Oh, the Mortal
No.
Kombat one.
Yeah, well, I just watched the Injustice cartoon. They have the animation cartoon on it's on HBO actually right now, where they have like their you know movie movie cartoon of this whole thing. But as I'm watching this, and it's brutal. Like Superman's punching through people's chests, and like different things are happening. Where I'm like, huh. Like I wasn't expecting this in a cartoon. In the cartoon, I thought it would be PG-13 violence. And at the end, I when the movie was over, I'm like, oh man, because this cartoon is rated R. But I'm like, but I kind of appreciated it. But also, it definitely, since it was a cartoon doing it, I was like, oh, I was not ready for that. But yes, I agree. I wish Dune was a little bit more rated R violent.
I'm going to bring in the yin to your yang. I actually appreciate things that don't show gratuitous violence and kind of leave it to your imagination. And
I'm with you there,
I'm
Casey.
probably well, it might be half artistic, and it might be because I'm like a super wuss, and I actually like. I mean, you know me. I didn't watch Breaking Bad because it made me feel too bad. Like I don't like to watch things that make me feel bad, so I skip a lot of that crap as it is. But I can appreciate. I don't know if you can really hook me and not have to resort to like showing me graphic violence to like hook me as a viewer, or for that reason too. That's kind of why I didn't get into Game of Thrones, is because the first season and season and a half, it's like softcore HBO porn. Like it's like a sex scene every episode, and it's pretty purposeful, and like it's pretty obvious seeing it, they did it to hook people, and like I know the end of it, the last few seasons got really well developed, and they didn't use that as a crutch to like hook viewers because they had the viewership already, and it got really good, yada yada. But that and gratuitous violence is just it's not up my alley. So I appreciate things that kind of leave it to your imagination, or kind of leave that unseen, because like you know what's happening. How much does it affect the story? How much does it move that along to have to see it?
Well, and just to be clear, I don't love the gratuitous violence. For me, it's more of like a Michael Scott in the improv class thing. Like what's the highest level you can go to is to pull out a gun and like So I like, if you're gonna pull out a gun, pull out a gun. That's all.
Well, and then I don't know, Case, kind of what you're talking about. I think the first thing I thought of was The Dark Knight. It's a PG-13 movie, probably one of the most violent movies that I had seen in years and a while, and yet it's PG-13 because they don't necessarily show blood everywhere and all these things. Like, are people dying and all these other terrible things are happening? Absolutely, but
Mhm.
did it take away from the movie? I don't think so. No.
That's true. That's a really good example. I didn't think twice about it with The Dark Knight.
No, not once. Just leaving the movie, I thought about it, but not while I was watching it. Like I was just like, "Shit, this is a violent movie."
So maybe it's less of a like I hate violence, but I think I'm saying I appreciate the things that don't need it, and can actually not show it, and you don't realize it. AKA, like we just said, The Dark Knight, where it's a great movie. You never thought twice about, oh yeah, they don't show the hundreds of people that probably died during the course of that film.
Want to see a pencil disappear?
Oh
Yeah.
my god! Ta-da!
Now, where
Well, and
were we?
I think you're
But
right,
they
Casey,
they
and that's
deliberately didn't show like splashes of blood and things when the dude took a pencil to the eye. Like even for the most probably violent thing the Joker did in the whole movie, like gratuitous violent thing he did, it was even kind of subtle because they kind of cut to the reaction of the other dudes when that happened for part of it as well. So they didn't show it full on. They kind of did it, showed the reaction, and then kind of cut back to the aftermath. So even with the most violent thing, he did it in a way where they didn't have to kind of show the worst of it.
Yeah, I think you gotta use that kind of stuff, like I don't know, like just you don't. Maybe you do a little bit of it, and that's it for the film, but or like kind of build up to it.
Hmm.
But yeah, like Dune, I think if that was a little bit more violent, it may have been. I don't know, would have threw me off. I thought it was just such of like the score kind of set this mood for me. I don't know. It was almost like sitting in like a hyperbaric chamber or something. It was
Yep.
like that kind of, I don't know. It was kind of like meditating in a way. It just kind of brought me into this world, but I get
You're
the point.
absolutely right, Chad. And maybe like I said, it did not ruin the movie for me at all because it's totally like what the kids would call like a vibe movie or like a vibe check movie. I'm with you
Yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was more about the sounds, the atmosphere, the mood, and all that stuff.
Man, I want to talk about biggest disappointments of 2021. As far as movie goes, I was really excited for the Little Things movie with Denzel.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Jared Leto.
Yeah. Oh my
Oh,
god.
woof.
That was so fucking bad. I remember
I
we were
think I just remember. Sorry, Chad. I remember the feeling that we were both like, "Oh, don't worry. Hey, this comes out like Friday." Like we were excited about
yeah,
it.
yep.
Oh my god, it was so.
I remember
Sorry.
we were I know my wife and I were watching it, and you just kind of have this moment where you just kind of look across the room at each other and be like, where we just started laughing at it. It was just like so ridiculous. I don't
We
know.
did a pause to see how much was left and like how much we committed to, and we're like, "Oh, do we finish it?" Like something like it was one of those movies where you kept on saying to yourself, "Something's gotta happen." Something, and like you give it 20 more minutes, and something better's gotta
Right,
happen. You're like, oh man,
right.
I totally forgot about that movie.
It's like going up a hill and like thinking you're going to get over the top. Like there it comes it. Nope. Nope. There it comes it. Nope. Nope. Right.
That's the perfect explanation.
Then you get up to the top
Oh,
and it's
God.
just a plateau. Anyway,
That's funny. Now I'm gonna look at my list of 43 movies to see which movies I thought were. Yeah, I graded my 43 movies with frowny faces,
stars and
smiley
hearts.
faces, and just a straight face. And yeah, the first one on my list was The Little Things, big frowny face.
Double frowny.
Oh my god. I
Yeah,
mean, I can. Sorry, somebody else can go. Otherwise, I can rattle off my list quick of movies I was disappointed in this year. There's not. It's only a couple actually.
I want to hear yours before I go, James.
Okay, so I did Little Things, Cherry. It's by that was with the directors or the director that did whatever the last Avengers movies. And it was with Spider-Man in it. I don't know. So that one was not great. Spiral, the what's it
Oh,
called?
I wanted to see that with Chris Rock.
The Saw movie one.
Yeah.
Old, that M Night Shyamalan movie. Was just unfortunately I love M Night Shyamalan, so like this one was just like a ugh. Like it's all you get to
Spoil
the.
that one. I want to know what happened. Like, what's that all about? Like, they're on
Do you
an
care if
island.
I tell
they
you
get-
what
they
actually
just-
happens at the end of
No,
it?
I'm never gonna watch that shit.
I didn't think so.
I guess
Anybody?
spoiler alert
Go
for
ahead.
anyone
Spoiler
listening.
alert.
Objections?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's go.
Spoiler alert. So yeah, so it's just basically like on this island, like we realized that time goes faster on this, like wherever on this beach, basically like it's cut off from the world. For some reason time goes faster here. So the big twist at the end basically is that people are invited to this resort, and they're specifically picked for different things that they have wrong with them. So like the people that end up showing up on this island, like one guy has Parkinson's, another one has a blood clotting disorder, another one has this and that and that, and it's all like everybody that shows up on this beach and can't get out of there is being observed by this pharmaceutical company that's like, hey, like that blood clotting disease, that worked great. Like they didn't bleed out when this happened. But the Parkinson's one, oh, no, that we need to try something new. That one's broken. Because basically they test these medicines or whatever is working. Instead of over, long periods of time, they send these people in there and they're like, hey, they figured out in a day that, hey, we cured Alzheimer's. Makes sense?
Yeah.
But everybody else basically dies.
Oh.
So it gets really weird when like these two like kids get together and have sex, and then all of a sudden this girl gets pregnant, and all of a sudden she's giving birth in like 20 minutes, and then of course the baby dies because the baby got no nourishment because it lived a lifetime in 10 minutes.
What?
Yeah, so I'm saying like it's different things like that happen. But anyways, like the twist is the pharmaceutical company is plotting against all these people
Big
to try to solve
pharma
things.
plandemic.
Wop, wop, wop. Okay, sorry, spoilers. Okay, then other couple bad ones that I saw. Eternals, I gave like I don't know, a squiggly line face. Same thing with 8-Bit Christmas, and
I liked 8-Bit Christmas. That was a good family
it was
movie.
yeah, it was just like, I think the squiggly line must have been my it's okay.
Yeah,
That's like how I felt about
that.
Eternals too. I think that's it. I think those were my main ones that I thought was like super disappointing. It was just little things, old and Cherry and Spiral. Everything else seemed to be like I could tolerate, including the movie Ice Road with Liam Neeson.
I remember when that came out. Ice Road.
Ice Road Truckers.
I mean, basically.
All right.
That probably would have helped. So for me, Chad, you hit it out of the park with the little things. That's my number one answer. But just to spice it up with some variety to this list, yeah, that should have worked, man. Jared Leto, Denzel, and Rami Malek on paper, they just, man, did they not stick the landing at all? For me, it was The Matrix Resurrections. I didn't even want to see this movie when the trailer came out. I thought the trilogy was perfect, done. Everyone go home. You know, we told our story. And I was really concerned when Lawrence Fishburne was not in the trailer. Morpheus was my favorite character of the original trilogy. But, I gave it a shot. I was like, I want to be fair. I want to, I don't want to let that hold me back. And I couldn't get over it. Yahya Abdul-Mateen plays Morpheus. They kind of integrate him in a different way because obviously he's not Lawrence Fishburne. And it was fine, but he's just not Lawrence Fishburne. He's not Morpheus. I'm sorry.
It doesn't have the same weight.
Exactly. And when I think of the Matrix, I think of them as a trinity. Haha. Trinity, Neo, and Morpheus. So if you're missing one leg of the tripod, it's like, already. But they tried to do some cool stuff. Like I appreciate. It's not a bad movie by any means. The characters are pretty good. We get to see Neo and Trinity again, and some other characters, but. They try to revive Smith. It doesn't work. The way they integrated Smith doesn't even need to be in this movie, which is a weird thing to say about a Matrix movie. So they took some risks, which I appreciated, but to me, they didn't fully stick the landing. So there's some cool stuff here, but I probably won't ever watch it again, kind of thing.
Well, one of my if this is so small for that movie, I agree with a lot of things that you said, Jamie. And one of the other things that happened in that movie that was disappointing to me was they didn't even, or maybe they did a little bit, but they didn't use like the same score. And so the music thing was a big part of it for me. So even like when like Neo and Trinity finally get together, finally kiss, whatever that is, it's supposed to be this huge epic scene. They don't even use the same like overture that they did in the other ones, which I thought would have added to like the feeling and vibes of the old movie. Instead, I just fell short in that aspect of where they could have used the music from the old ones to like really hype out different scenes, since they already had so much similarities going on anyways. I don't know. That's where just one of my critiques on the movie, I guess. But otherwise, I agree with a lot of the things you said. A lot of things did fall short. I did appreciate the main villain, I guess, in this one. I didn't.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
That was fun.
No spoilers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there will be when we talk about the Mandalorian. So, are you gonna finish this sucker or what? Because
I don't know. I started watching. What did I start watching? Something else that's not the Mandalorian. I'm sorry. I'm the worst.
Well, I mean, the end of the second season, right? So this big battle on the ship. Grogu is like, he's locked up in a cell, and a familiar spaceship lands on the Star Cruiser, and there's an epic battle, and then Grogu is taken away.
Who takes him?
Luke Skywalker.
No.
Anakin Skywalker.
No.
Boba Fett.
Obi-Wan.
No.
The clone of Obi-Wan. Luke Skywalker comes and gets them, and they go away.
You're being silly.
Yeah.
Django shows up.
Django.
It's just an animatronic head, but his body is all there.
He comes, he takes off his head, and he's Django Unchained.
Oh, what a sweet like crossover cameo for Jamie
Right.
Foxx.
That'd be awesome if like Tarantino did like one episode of a Star Wars series. It should be like
Was there talk of that, or am I thinking? Oh, Zack Snyder is what I was thinking of. Never mind.
I would
Right.
watch a Tarantino Star Wars. That would be very
yeah, he
cool.
could do like the tales from Jabba's palace or something.
Yeah.
I think it was on Armchair that I think he had Tarantino on there, and they were talking about how he wanted to do. Tarantino wanted to redo Rambo, and he wanted Kylo Ren to be Rambo, but he wanted to do it more like kind of per the book, which I was like, yeah, I would watch that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Hell yeah.
All right, should we wrap this up?
Yes, but the last thing I will give 2 cents on, because I was looking at the very bottom here of things that I had missed, but I've watched Nightmare Alley now, Last Night in Soho, Matrix, but Ghostbusters Afterlife. Did you guys catch that yet?
No, It's
No.
on my list.
Very enjoyable. It's just like it is what it is, but it's very nostalgic of the first of like Ghostbusters 1 and 2. It doesn't really talk about. Excuse me. It doesn't really talk about the Melissa McCartney Ghostbusters or anything like that. It just kind of takes place after Ghostbusters
That might
2,
be.
as far as I'm concerned.
God, I should bring Lorenzo to that.
It was a lot of fun. It's
Yeah.
like it in the first like 4 or 5 minutes of the movie, like the way they open it up and before they show the Ghostbusters sign, like if that was the trailer, like they did that IMAX style, kind of like how they always do Nolan movies
Yeah.
nowadays. Like they just showed the first 5 minutes of this movie as the clip and left it alone, no trailer, no nothing after that. I think it would have done, and no pandemic, obviously. It would have done epic. I think it would have done really, really well.
All right.
It was a lot of fun.
That's Paul Rudd, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, anything he's in is gold, so I'm in.
That's fair.
Yeah, maybe I'll. Yeah, I took my oldest to Spider-Man last weekend, and he loved it. No, we were just watching. We just watched like the Narnia series, and he really liked that. He was saying, he's like, this would have been really cool to see in the movie theater. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, nice. No,
Yeah,
that's
so-
awesome. If Ghostbusters is playing, I think it'd definitely be worth it. I was looking to see who plays like the Slimer type character, like as everything is motion caption these days, and it was God, I forget his name. The guy that plays Olaf in Frozen, Josh Gad. I guess did the facial expressions for the ghost, which I thought
Chad's
was funny.
favorite.
I have an unrealistic hatred for him.
Oh no! Oh, womp womp! I
Womp
just
womp.
sorry, little buddy, you're not going to the theater anymore.
Right. All right.
Chad, anytime I see Josh Gad in anything, I think of you. I just want you to know that.
If it makes you feel better, like you don't know it's Josh Gad. Like I had to look it up. It wasn't
Okay.
like I know this voice.
All
Like
right.
I have no clue. You don't even understand the ghost.
I'm afraid of no ghost. All right. Thank you for listening to this episode of Movie Time Machine, where we don't talk about a movie, we talk about movies that we watched in the year 2021 and some series too. I didn't talk about video games, and we could do that next time. But yeah, thanks for listening. Catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.